Building 25 is this two-story colonial building, very large building, that was the headquarter building for the base. It was part of Richmond Naval Air Station, and that was a blimp base that was created in 1942 in that southern part of the county near where today's Zoo Miami is. And the purpose of that blimp base was to have constant air patrol because we are a peninsula, and we had a significant number of ships, particularly cargo and shipping type ships, that were sunk off the coast of Florida by German Nazi U-boats, submarines. And the blimps were very effective against these types of attacks, because the submarines have to come up every now and then. And so the blimps would just kind of circulate over the waters. And what a lot of people don't know is that because of their work, we sank a significant number of German submarines off the coast of Florida, and most people have no clue. And so it was one of the largest air stations in the world, I think only second behind the one that was in New Jersey. And we had 25 blimps at one point here. So it played a huge part in World War II, and but it doesn't stop there. Okay, so after World War II, we get into the 60s. And in the 60s, and we start going into the whole Cold War era, and you have the Bay of Pigs thing happening. And this base became the part of, South Florida was the largest CIA operative outside of Langley, Virginia, obviously. And this base was a huge part of that. And they would train people here, the special operatives. This base, and particularly out of this building, would be where the secret messages would be sent from, and all that kind of stuff. So huge part of the military effort to overthrow the Cuban Revolution. And most people don't know about that, and that's why this story should be told. A lot of Cuban history is tied with this location as well. And then that kind of died out in 68. That kind of operative died out. In 71, the property reverted back to the Army, and the Army had it for about 11 years. I think it was the 324th MASH unit operated out of that building for 10 years. And in 81, the Marines took it. And the Marines did a lot of special operation training there too, but it was like all top secret, and they were testing out the new equipment here at the base. And then in 91, right before Hurricane Andrew, the Marines used this base and this building as the staging area and the call to service area and prep for the troops going to the Gulf War to fight in Kuwait. So, from the 40s to the 90s, right before it was destroyed by Hurricane Andrew, you have this continuous operation in some kind of military capacity. Now, this is what's so cool. So, not only are these guys trying to save the building, trying to preserve the building to tell the history of this building, but when it's done and complete and all built out, it's going to be the home of the new Miami Military Museum. And we have nothing like that here in South Florida. A museum dedicated to just the special stories of the military history of this area, especially if you start getting into how Miami really grew. And that's when all the GIs came home. They were stationed here, they were stationed out at Miami Beach, they were training in Miami Beach. They all wanted to come back here. So it's great that we're going to have that kind of museum, but also just to be able to tell the story. And it affects all the people that live here. Everybody that lives here, no matter where you've come from, you've been affected in one way or another by one of these operatives that happened at this base, the Richmond Naval Air Station. So we're really excited.